question, please, in the middle. Could you stand up, please? Thank you.
Hi, Eric. I'm here from Israel. It seems that you have obsession to Israeli women. First, Ayelet Zora in Munich, and now Natalie Portman in this movie. So can you explain this fascination?
I planted that question.
Right, okay. Yes, I've been very fortunate to work with some beautiful women, and in particular some beautiful Israeli women. That's correct. That's a very good observation. And I hope to continue that trend. If there's anyone else you have in mind, please let me know. I don't know what else to say.
Your question, please.
Hi, my name's Eric from Reuters. I have a question that the men seem to come across in this film as weaklings. Is this something that maybe history should be re-examined in a lot of other cases? That men are the weaklings and the cowards? And the other question, all three of you are not from England. Is that a bit strange, being colonialists and playing such important English figures? Was that difficult at all?
Well, I think that, the starting point with these, Philippa's book, The Other Boleyn Girl, was this amazing story, this unknown story of Mary Boleyn. I mean, I know my history from my history lessons at school, but you have this character that I didn't know very much about, and what is fascinating about this particular book and this screenplay and this film is there's a story essentially about women. You've got these amazing two sisters, these siblings together at the heart of the movie, which this is what it's about, their journey. And you've got these other characters like Anatol, who plays Queen Catherine of Aragon, fantastic female characters. And I think Philippa had really researched into this and kind of discovered these amazing female characters. But yes, the men are in this are kind of slightly weaker, but I think that this is a story about relationships and family, and kind of at the heart of it, these two female characters.
See, I never saw it really as weak,
No.
as the men being weak, because it seems like the women are sort of rebelling against being pawns of all of these strong men's designs. And I mean, the girl's father and their uncle are fully manipulating the way their lives are going. The king is making decisions about which of his queens can stay in the castle, which will lose their head, which will be, sent into a nunnery or whatever. So, I mean, the men don't seem weak at all to me. It just seems that the women are actively striving for their strength, which makes them a little bit more proactive about getting their power, whereas the men just have the power.
Could you please stop photographing now? It would be very kind to our guests. Thank you.
But getting back to what you were saying about us playing British characters, I think, we're very fortunate that this art form is so international, and being part of the Commonwealth, being Australian, I felt like, it was my right to inhabit one of these British characters. No, we're very fortunate. I mean, particularly being from Australia, constantly having to portray people from other countries. And I think in general the film industry is very generous in that sense. And I think that is the ideal. I mean, I think, casting should be open to people from different countries, different nationalities, whatever the director sees fit,
And for me, this is my first film. I'd done short films and some television beforehand, and in my naivety, I just went for my dream cast, the golden cast, and I just went straight and met these three as the starting point, and they said yes, and it was just, I was blessed, and so it carried on, and not only were the three artists here tonight in it, but there was up and coming new talent as well, like Jim Sturgis and Eddie Redmayne and Juno Temple. It was a real eclectic group of people, and I just went for gold, really, and they all came on and did it and worked on it. It's fantastic.
So your question, please.
Hi, I'm Pavis from RPR1, the big German radio station. I have two questions. The first goes to Natalie and to Scarlett. Could you please give us some words about the fun and the experience wearing all these huge costumes, these wonderful, amazing costumes? And the second question is for all of you. Sometimes, as I said, some situations happen, accidents, scary situations, funny situations, some things that should not happen. Maybe we have some mysteries from the set for us. Thank you.
Well, I'd certainly say that it wasn't like I went to set every morning at 6:30 and was like, God, I can't wait to be corseted, you guys, seriously. Especially after that bacon sandwich. But it really was, the costumes really aided in a way, as they were kind of characters in themselves, and Sandy Powell, who's an incredible visionary, built these costumes with such rich textile and color, and even kind of had a whole color wheel for our characters and how they would progress. And it was really, it was interesting to see how these costumes yielded in restricting us, as it was a kind of constant reminder of the restrictions placed on women at this time. And even with the sleeves not being able to really, Natalie and I are both, Jewish girls from New York, so we're used to being able to say, I couldn't believe it, this happened, that happened, this happened. You can't even move your arm, everything, you're kind of very statuesque and have this kind of giant skirt around you, and it really, it's interesting how that changes the way you interact and the intimacy between characters. It was certainly a whole character in itself,
Yeah, it was very helpful, and although it wasn't always the most comfortable, it was definitely helpful in creating the characters. And it was also great to see, like, Eric, this actor I've been admiring from Chopper to Munich, as this very serious, actor, like, just serious guy coming in with these huge, like, half the set. You couldn't even get him in, like, one shot. His shoulders were so wide, and the cod piece and the little tights, and, like, it was quite a look.
Yeah, codpiece. Yeah. Codpieces are good. If anyone's not ever tried a codpiece, I thoroughly suggest wearing a codpiece. It's very comfortable. It's very good. Yeah.
Question in the middle, please.
Hi, Uffe Seaman from Denmark.